Okay. What's up, everybody? No music just yet. Working on that here momentarily. There we go. Alright. Thanks for bearing with me. Had to just make sure that order went in okay. But as you can see, we put our first futures order in. We are short a contract of MNQ with stop at about 18.9, so not very much longer. If MNQ decides to rally after today's little shindig on inflation, then it is what it is. But we got our profits way down here, so yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, we might get stopped out up here if we rally this afternoon, but I'm alright with that. Just a little tiny foray into futures, not very much max loss at stake, and, you know, deciding again to just sort of hedge the long exposure here, because we do have so much long delta at risk in the form of Tesla, Palo Alto, and all these big tech names here. So we are short. We're short Coinbase. We're short a couple stocks in the NASDAQ here, but again, overwhelmingly long in the form of CrowdStrike, AMD, Palo Alto, Tesla, Micron, Dell. So a lot of tech-heavy, long positions here, and just looking to use these Q futures to just kind of short a little bit. I did want to just go over the State of the Union here and give ourselves a little bit of a tour with everything that we are experiencing otherwise. And the title of, you know, in my tweet, I mentioned that I was not too worried about these big loser positions here. And why is that? Okay, well, Tesla's a leap, and if we take a look at a Tesla chart, I'm not a big charting guy. I just have some moving averages, and that's pretty much all I use. I don't really use volume or any of that stuff, but you can see here, the lows of Tesla at about 138, so I'm more than happy to buy it at 135. And that's pretty much the low over the last year or so. So I have this leap here. I'm not really that worried about it. And we'll see. You know, we'll see what happens. This Tesla short call is looking good. Sort of soaking up the damage here as Tesla sinks a little bit. Looks like the market overall is going to be down slightly. That's, you know, to be expected. Before this report, I imagine that everybody's going to be a little jittery. And again, we do have a short futures contract here, just to give ourselves some short Q exposure. I may actually go ahead and sell a put today and turn this Q position here into a short strangle, just because, you know, the reports today, I imagine that IVR will decrease a little bit, and we're not tested on this short call, but I don't know how I feel about having a short Q naked call to the upside and a short MNQ contract. I mean, that's a lot of exposure to the short Qs. That's, you know, 50 deltas, so that's not insignificant. Actually, more than 50 deltas, probably 55, 60. So we'll see what happens. You know, our stop loss is pretty tight at about a 2% rally. But my thinking here is that, you know, I mean, the moving averages seem to show a downtrend, and remember, moving averages are a lagging indicator. So, just by definition, moving averages are a computation of previous price action, and we see these crossovers when the price action has been to the downside for some time. So that's all that tells us. Doesn't tell us if things are going to continue or not, obviously. But just looking at today's price action, it looks like there has been some selling pressure. Looks like we're moving past that, and the bulls are starting to find some ground. So, if, you know, things get too out of hand, we're going to get out of this fast. I'm not going to fight the NASDAQ any higher than it wants to go, particularly because we do have so much long exposure that, again, you know, if the NASDAQ goes down, we're going to lose a lot in the form of Palo Alto. Palo Alto down $5, and even our option itself not doing too hot. short here, so it's just due to the increase in volatility before earnings, most likely. That's okay. You know, like I said, if we take a look at the profit graph overall for Palo Alto, right now we're down about $120. Okay, right now we're down about $700 on this option, and if we just fast forward to earnings, right? Earnings are 4 days to expiration, 8/19. We're only down $130 at the current spot price. So even if we rally all the way up to our short strike, and we're down in theory about $1,000, that's not that much different than our current theoretical loss of $750. So more than happy to just, again, sit tight on this option, and we're just going to hold it into the earnings cycle, and we'll roll it if and when we need to. Here we go. So this is a little more accurate. Got 240 bucks on the option. That's a little bit like what I expected to see. I was wondering about that rise in volatility. But yeah, our short futures contract making some good work here. You know, if we get to like $100 in profit, I honestly might just take the scalp. 60 bucks, not too bad, and I don't really want to wait for the bulls to find their footing here. But again, you know, we'll just trade our plan. It's our first futures contract. There's a part of me that wants to take this profit off the table, but this is not a scalp. I made this trade with the 1 day time frame in mind. The next resistance level from, you know, the previous charts is right around 18.9. So, you know, if we breach that, is what it is. Now, you know, disclaimer, if we get to about $200 in profit, I will just go ahead and take this off the table because we do have a binary event later today, and that's going to be pretty interesting to witness. But yeah, totally okay with the max loss at stake here, and we'll just record this. I'll actually put it in the journal later today. I may do a tutorial about that, but other than that, looks like the portfolio is either neutral or negative. I think the market will do this before these big sort of binary events, so not too worried about that. Now, you know, in my tweet, like I said, I did mention that wasn't that worried about the max loss, and we'll take a look at why on Dell. Dell is obviously the big problem child in our portfolio. Why am I not worried about Dell with a $2,000 loss? Well, number one, because we've been leveraging the power of short options to actually decrease our cost basis, right? So we've collected, if we take a look at the order chain for Dell, we are obligated to buy Dell at approximately $125 a share. And by approximately, I mean exactly $125 a share. So not good with Dell at 93, but if you think about it, right, we can just round Dell up to 95. That's 105, 115, 125. So that's a notional value of at least $3,000 in loss. And due to the short options defenses that we've managed to put up, we've actually cut that loss by a third. So we're down only about $2,000, two and change. But, you know, with a notional value of about $2,300 in a loss, it is not at all surprising to me that we're down $2,100, and I consider that a good thing. Furthermore, we can just keep rolling this out, and geez, you know, this NASDAQ contract, I'm really thinking about closing this out. I don't know how to do a trailing stop, but this is looking real nice. You know, I may just, for the amount of time that I've been in here, I put this on at market open, I may just take it off. You know, the profit targets here, I really wish that I had a way to set up a trailing stop, but I didn't know how to do that in the Tasty Trade platform, so I may call the trade desk later today and figure out how to do that. But yeah, this futures contract doing nicely here to hedge our exposure to some of these stocks. You know, like I said, really this is here just as a buffer zone to Palo Alto and some of these other guys that are going to take a hit if the NASDAQ decides to go down. So that's what this is for, and I'm totally good with that. So we will continue to see how the selling pressure unfolds. We are short Coinbase slightly, but I'm, like I said, not going to get too crazy with the exposures here. The reason this short futures contract is here is because we, you know, in the event of a market crash, because we have so much short theta, we would be on the hook for a lot of different stocks. We'd be on the hook for AMD, we'd be on the hook for CrowdStrike, we'd be on the hook for Tesla, we'd be on the hook for ARM, no, but you know, a lot of these NASDAQ stocks here, and the short futures contract would be invaluable in hedging our losses should that happen. So this is, again, my first futures trade. Not looking to go too crazy. It's a max loss of about $500, and looks like it's paying off here handsomely. $160 already. We're just going to go ahead and... I'm really tempted to dip out of this, but I'm not going to. I just really wish that I had a trailing stop attached to this, and let me see if I can just figure it out live here on the platform. Maybe we can say... We don't want to do this. Bracket is okay. Yeah, see, I don't see an option to actually do the trailing stop here, but I guess like I said, I'll call the trade desk and we'll see. Yeah, I'm so glad I put this short contract on, because it looks like the whole market now is probably selling off. Again, to be expected before a binary event like this, you're going to have some people that get the jitters and decide that they want to peace out. But look at this. Wow, Palo Alto down $6, and our 350 call is losing value rapidly. If you remember at the close of the day on Friday, we had this call was worth about $1,100, and now it's lost almost 30% of that in the space of a few days. That shows you just how quickly these short-dated contracts can actually move. And yeah, no, I'm not too nonplussed with our first foray into futures, but yeah, the whole market here is taking a bit of a dive. You know, 0.25% isn't very much, but like I said, that's to be expected before the big event, and this is again mainly intended to hedge the results of that event. I know I keep saying that, but the futures really are a good way to do that. Just because, you know, you can always roll the contract here. You see, if we decide to roll the futures contract, we can push it out to December, and actually just want to review this, but yeah, so, you know, we could roll that out. This expires in September 24, so definitely something to keep an eye on. Now, the mini is actually cash settled, so what that means is for futures that have physical commodities like gold or crude, you'd actually be required to physically deliver the asset. In this case, though, because it's an intangible asset, we would just cash settle at expiration. So I've sold the futures at this point. I would just buy them back at expiration. Wow, look at that. Up 200, you know, in the space of a few minutes. And again, I'm tempted to close it out, but this is a positional trade. You know, I put this position on with the one-day chart, so it looks like we are getting some buying pressure here. I'll be curious to know how far we sell off. Again, that's all going to be contingent on the big event with inflation later today. So the yen carry trade business seems behind us to some degree, and yeah, I don't really have too much else. Everything else is looking good. VST, we did an episode on the inverted strangle. We're just about out of range of that short call there, but happy to hang on to this one. We got another couple days. We're going to be bullish here if the market continues to drop. Dell, of course, we're overwhelmingly bullish on for all the reasons I've touched on over the last couple episodes. Micron, we're bullish on. This strangle here, I'm actually tempted to take this off. Because we do have a binary event today, and you know, 30% profit in 6 days, I think, is probably a good enough reason to say goodbye to this. And we also have long exposure already, so let's see if we can get filled here. Maybe not. Can we get filled? There we go. All right. Oh, maybe did I leg out of that on accident? Oh, maybe I did. Yeah, I think I might have hit that button We'll just close out of that short put as well, so that we've only got the... There we go. Yeah, took a slight loss there trying to get out of that. Probably was just too focused on talking, but it's all good. It was like 12 bucks. No big deal there. No harm, no foul. So now we're left again with our original inversion and only 40 deltas of exposure, which is great. You know, we got out of that. Maybe take a look at what happened here. So we had the 75, 110, and then I guess I accidentally sold a 120. Unfortunate, but you know, sometimes that happens. Just sort of a fat finger mistake. All good there. No harm, no foul. And I am just continuing to watch this market plummet. 206. And look at this. I mean, just in terms of Palo Alto, we're down 352. So, you know, very happy to just sort of let this simmer here, especially after the binary event. You know, if we don't get the news we're looking for, and things start to go south, this contract is going to be helpful. I want to close, like, there is a part of me that wants to close it out, you know, and just take the profit, but looks like the market is trying to decide where to go, and again, just following the rules here. You know, if we do close this out, let's say we do, and the market tanks, well then, you know, that's not only lost profit, but we're already, you know, short exposure everywhere else. So, you know, a rally here would not be the worst thing in the world for us, because we would get rallies in stocks like AMD, CrowdStrike, Micron, and Dell, which we are, of course, short long. So that's all I have at the open for now. I'll check back in with you guys here at the close. I would imagine that we'll see a shift here in the market based on the data here in just a little bit, but this candle seems to indicate that there's some buying pressure, some trying to test resistance, and people are closing out. So I will see you guys here in a few hours, if not at the market close, then definitely at the market open tomorrow. If you have any suggestions on topics that you want me to cover other than just hearing me ramble, please, you know, feel free to DM me or you know, make your suggestions known. I'd be happy to hear what you have to say. So thanks, and I'll see you in a little bit.